Each month, we introduce you to some extraordinary people of the Cape Fear. They're the unsung heroes making a real difference in our community.
And this group is really special. They're volunteers who use their hands to share a common thread of love with people they'll never meet. With fresh manicures on aging fingers, their hands do the work of the heart. Love flowing into every fold of the fabric.
The fabric was just a jump-off-the-shelf fabric that I loved.
These are the hands that started it all back in 2009. Jeannie Scott wanted to help people who were dying of AIDS and sometimes alone.
We learned how AIDS patients are often forgotten. They don't get birthday presents, they don't get Christmas presents.
Jeannie gathered supplies and friends who could iron, sew, cut, and fold, and started making butterfly pillowcases to give away as a gift for the patient and a keepsake for their family. People were so touched, they started donating to support the ministry.
And then as the money increased, we increased our production to go to hospice.
And that's where Jeannie met Jason Clam, who instantly knew the pillowcases could provide comfort and even joy for many hospice patients during their final days.
I know they hear the stories, but we hear the stories too. The caregivers, the people who come back and just share how that has been a meaningful thing in their life and that their loved one is still part of their life because of this pillowcase.
The mission eventually moved from a mobile operation to Pine Valley Methodist Church, where it adopted its current name, Common Thread. Each pillowcase, by design, comes with Psalm 4:8 lovingly sewn inside.
I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. And you know, that scripture is comforting for not just the one who is passing away, but the ones who receive the pillowcase later.
And then, a few years ago, this happened, the beautifully decorated butterfly box. And it's filled with cards and letters from family members of people who received the pillowcases. And there are thank you cards, there's letters, photos, and sometimes donations. Those who work here may never know who receives the work of their heart, but Nancy Coppage does. She handmade a pillowcase for her father at the end of his life in 2021, and it's still precious to her to this day.
Even when he got to where we weren't sure he even knew we were there anymore, just knowing that it was there under his head just meant the world to me and my brother. Being on the side, seeing my dad, and being able to take his pillowcase home to keep was just really special.
And we hear stories quite often of putting them in frames, in cases. I've heard people talk about how they can still smell their loved one on the pillowcase as a reminder.
A common thread, a tie that binds helping hands to grateful hearts in a community of grace that's nothing short of extraordinary. And Common Thread is always looking for volunteers to join the group at Pine Valley Methodist Church in Wilmington. And Matt, they say about half of the people who come there actually don't sew at all, but they can do the prep and the distribution work. So everybody's welcome.
And they kind of learn as they go. And
they do, yeah. You can always rip, you can always cut, iron. You know, it's just a wonderful ministry that they do, and it's all free of charge.
You said they're always looking for new volunteers and
They
trying to get some younger people in as well.
Yes, they say a lot of younger women don't sew, but it's okay. They can learn there, and they can also do some of that prep work, and it's all going to the same loving cause.
Yeah, such a simple thing makes such a big difference.
It sure does.
All right, well, if you know someone we should feature, email extraordinary@wwaytv3.com.